All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the cheapest way to buy gold and silver online. If you're buying gold or silver online, there's a good chance you're overpaying, and not because of spot price, it's because of three things: which dealer you're using, and how you're paying, and what size of coin you're buying. In this video, I'm breaking down the cheapest way to actually buy precious metals online. We're going to compare three of the biggest dealers: APMEX, JM Bullion, and Bullion Exchanges. Look at how payment method affects your final price, and then talk about why buying fractional coin or a fancy numismatic piece is quietly destroying your cost basis. By the end of this, you're going to know exactly how to squeeze the most metal out of every dollar. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start with payment method right now, because that is the single biggest thing you have direct control over, even before you pick a coin. Here's the reality: credit card is always the baseline price, what dealers will call the retail price. And when you pay with Visa or MasterCard, you are paying a full premium. The dealer eats a processing fee of roughly 2 to 3%, and that cost gets baked into what you see. But here's where it gets interesting. So APMEX and JM Bullion and Bullion Exchanges, if you pay by eCheck, paper check, ACH, or bank wire, you will get a 4% discount off the credit card price. And that's automatic and shows right up in the checkout as cash or check wire price. Now, crypto is interesting. This is where it costs slightly more than eCheck, but there's some savings compared to credit card, and all three support crypto payments. And you might be thinking, what about crypto or credit card rewards? Yes, you can earn points, but most of the cards give 1 to 2% at best, and you're still paying 2 to 3% more on the front end. That math doesn't work out in your favor. eCheck wins unless you have some kind of extreme cashback situation. And I was a little nervous about doing eCheck initially, but it works out pretty good. You just have to wait like a week for your money to settle and the order to ship. So bottom line, cheapest way, use eCheck or bank wire and get 4% off the board, and that's the cheapest way to pay. All right, next, let's get into which dealer you should actually be buying from. Let's walk through each one. I'll bring up their website. All right, so starting with APMEX, it is the biggest name in the game. Massive selection, over 40,000 products, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, collectibles, you name it. If you're looking for something obscure, APMEX probably has it. APMEX probably is by far the best place to go for selection and world coins. And the trade-off, they tend to be pricier on the high end. Their premiums are competitive, but not usually the lowest. They're great for rare finds, and large orders do have some discounts if you like the comfort of a well-established brand. Crypto users, there is a slight discount for crypto users. And like I said earlier, I was worried about using eCheck, but the savings on the premium has been worth it, even though it takes a week or so to settle before your order ships. Also, APMEX has the best mobile app out of the three. I have no regrets ordering from here, other than, like I said, they are a little bit pricier than the other options. They also have a nice portfolio tracking tool where you can upload your holdings, whether or not you've bought them from APMEX, and kind of track that. And you can plug that into things like, what was personal capital, other net worth tracking tools. So that's really nice. That's just a free perk. All right, next up we have JM Bullion. That's where most serious stackers end up. Very competitive pricing on Bullion. Free shipping on orders over $199, and a clean checkout experience. They accept everything from credit card, eCheck, PayPal, Bankwire, crypto, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and even Klarna if you want to split payments. They even have bulk pricing and a pretty good selection. As you can see here, there's some bulk pricing, some eCheck prices, crypto, and your card and PayPal. While the selection I don't think is quite as good as APMEX, JM Bullion is a solid choice for everyday stacking because the combination of price, selection, and ease is hard to beat. They do have some pretty good world coins, as you can see here. And correction, they do have free shipping on orders over $499, not $199. Yeah, so that's JM Bullion, and next we'll talk about Bullion Exchanges. All right, next up is Bullion Exchanges is a strong option, especially if you're into numismatics or want a broader collection collectible selection. They're based out of New York City and have a physical retail location, which is rare for online dealers. They've got the same discount structure if you're paying by wire or by cash versus crypto and credit card. They also have a rewards program. They call it Bucks, where you earn dollar for dollar rewards on purchases. And that stacks on top of your payment method savings, which is a nice bonus for repeat buyers. If you're a pure bullion stacker, JM Bullion edges it out on pricing. If you want a broader mix of bullion and collectibles, the option to visit a store, Bullion Exchanges is worth bookmarking. I've ordered a decent amount from here, and I've had no problems. In fact, they ship even faster than APMEX, at least as of late. So yeah, overall great experience with Bullion Exchanges. I would recommend, and they are usually a bit cheaper than APMEX. And yeah, that's it for Bullion Exchanges. And last thing, if you're super price conscious, you can always go to findbullionprices.com and you can see the cheapest for every type of coin, the premium and percentage. And that's how I found like Bullion Exchanges was a pretty good site. I don't order off eBay. I'm still a little wary of that. So I like to order from real, coin shops that are pretty popular. For me, that's worth paying a bit of premium, but that's totally a personal decision. So it's really nice to be able to check the premiums when you're about ready to order, considering the cost of, these items. So yeah, keep this website in mind. Bookmark it. It's a good one to keep. Okay, next up, let's talk premiums for fractional coins. Because I think most beginners don't talk enough about this. Because even if you're still using eCheck and shopping at the right dealer, you can still massively overpay based on what you're actually buying. The premium on a coin is what you pay above the raw spot price of metal, and this premium varies depending on what you're buying. So basically an ounce, you're going to be paying the least amount of premiums. And an American Gold Eagle is about 5%. And at $4,800, you might be a little bit over $5,000 based on spot price plus, the 5%. If you take that some money and apply it to a 1/10 ounce Gold Eagle, there's a 15% premium. And then it gets, a little bit less if it's a quarter or a half ounce of gold. So if you scale that up, if you're just buying all 1/10 ounce coins, you're going to be overpaying by quite a bit to get your 1 ounce of gold. And that's up to you if you want to save up for the 1 ounce. I know 1 ounce is very pricey. I've been buying quarter ounces, but totally up to you and your budget and how often you want to buy. So proof coins are also similar. You don't need to pay more for proof if your goal is to just simply resell down the line. They're not going to get you that same money back. I bought one proof coin, but it was just a tiny bit more than a standard coin, a proof Gold Eagle, which I've shown in this video. So yeah, that's it for fractional versus not fractional gold and silver. And for silver, I only buy whole ounces. I'm not going to buy a half ounce or any junk silver at this time. I'm just trying to keep it really simple and straightforward. All right, let's get into tips for buying precious metals. Just a quick recap. Always pay by eCheck. And great for everyday stacking. JM Bullion or Bullion Exchanges are the go-to. Great pricing, easy checkout, safe. Use APMEX if you're hunting for something specific, rare coins, unusual products, or if you want to have the widest possible inventory. They also have some really cool ancient coins that are usually in stock. Bullion, take advantage of the programs. APMEX has its own. Bullion Exchanges has its own. Stick to 1 ounce coins or bars if you can. But I totally get it if you want to do fractionals. They might be easier to sell in the future. That's what I'm doing. So they're fine for flexibility of budget. Just know you're paying a little bit extra per ounce. Avoid numismatic and proof coins unless you specifically collect. You're buying art. You're not buying the metal at that point. And then before any purchase, use a tool like findbullionprices.com. Don't be afraid to shop around. I started with APMEX. They seem the most trustworthy of the three, the biggest. But like I've said, I've had no problems buying from the others, and I will just kind of round robin based on what has the best price and inventory for what I'm looking for. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. It really helps this channel grow. And if you've got questions about any of these dealers or if you found a better deal somewhere, drop it in the comments. I read every comment, trying to grow this channel. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. Until then, stack smart, stack often, and I will see y'all in the next video.